Welcome back to Crypto's juiciest news. Bitcoin has done a nice recovery, friends, up to 96,000 American dollars. Boy, oh boy, are we going to see the Trump inauguration finally shift this momentum of us going nowhere right now. Everyone is looking for a resolution to this. It's still been a while. And a lot of people, I know they're wondering, hey, are we going to do what we did last year, which was pretty much sit around for a long period of time, which is right now. It would be, my gosh, 238 days. Where will 238 days take us? Oh, wow, to July. You know what, friends? I mean, the prices are so high enough. If Bitcoin went sideways for that long, I know pretty much everyone gets bored, but hey, the market doesn't really owe us anything. But yes, we're hoping that we go much higher. And look, I know I'm just using very, very basic left curve type of thinking. The price of bananas, the price of orange juice, cost of living has gone up way, way, way too much. Crypto has to go up. It would be racist and transphobic if it didn't go up. It must go up. Every single thing. Houses, stocks. Why is every single Ponzi in the world pumped to the freaking heavens, but this thing hasn't gone up? Well, it's 4-year cycle magic. So yes, we are due to pump up and expecting our targets to be much higher. That's only because we're relying on this 4-year cycle, but we know it's not just a 4-year cycle, really. It's a 4-year global debt liquidity cycle. They printed a lot of money. Let's see what happens next. Now, I'm going to quickly crack on with the news, friends, and we'll check out some chart stuff. So, Telegram chain, they have expanded to the USA, and it's probably due to Donald Trump's policy expectations, which is actually fantastic because Donald Trump and his pro-crypto agenda, it's big. It's big. It's bringing a lot of optimism back to the game. It really makes you disgusted at how the previous administration was. But it is a crazy part, man. It's all part of the 4-year cycle. Like, what's dictating? Is it like, is because this 4-year cycle so powerful that these guys were due to basically be scum? Or is it the other way around? The chicken and the egg problem? I don't know. It's something we'll figure out, I guess, one day. And they're pretty much, I guess, maybe summarize it as all being the same thing. What I'm going to do now is play some nice Pumpy G music. Gary Gensler, friends, the semen demon himself. And I've still got my clown nose. He honk, 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 honk. So Gary Gensler, the semen demon, has gone on CNBC or whatever it is. And I'll just let you speak about it. He speaks about some Bitcoin. Let's go. Let's have a listen together.
Yeah, I think that Bitcoin is a highly speculative, volatile asset, but with 7 billion people around the globe, 7 billion people want to trade it, just like we do have gold for 10,000 years.
So it's basically a load of BS. We don't really care what this guy says. Obviously, friends, just to remind you as well, honk, honk for his nose. Also, the clown nose red Interpol, also scum. You get a clown nose as well. So the corrupt SEC is used by the US Fed owners to control the population. Okay, it's controlling the financial investment wing to make sure no one really gets ahead. They can control everything, friends, because money is power. They want to make sure who's got the leaks of the currency units and they're aware of it. So they're the fourth shadow wing puppet arm of the US Fed. Of course, the US Fed, they have private owners. No one's allowed to know who owns the US Fed. But if it doesn't take too much digging, you figure out JP Mosquito owners, Goldman Slugs, big US investment banks. They have a big share of the US Fed. But it's actually, you're not even allowed to own it. It's all private owners. And you get to see with Operation Choke Point, 1.0, 2.0, all of these, it's very obvious that they want to basically keep control of the population and everything out here. But let's see what happens throughout this administration. Now, speaking of Gary Gensler, the Ripple CEO, so Brad Garlic Breath, he has actually slammed him. And he's actually said that Gensler, very much on brand, completely dismissive of the 2024 election, dismissive of the American public, has fully committed to his failed regulation by enforcement agenda to the bitter end. I think it's nice and diplomatic for people to talk like that. First of all, I don't talk like that. Do you honestly think everything in the world you've seen, oh, it's just a difference of opinion by the powerful structure entity, the scum, devil, the Satan worshipper, the bug overlord, the one with all the power, who has a complete opposite opinion to the majority of the people who he's supposed to represent. It's just a coincidence that for all these years it's been going like this. Just total coincidence, guys. Just like, you know what I mean? I mean, like, your regulation by enforcement strategy is just, it's not working. You know, it makes no sense, dude. It's literally like, okay, a father has got a gun, starts blowing his kids' heads off with a gun. And he's wondering why they're not rocking up to dinner. And he goes, you literally rock up to the police station. They're like, hey, Mr. Father, do you ever think that maybe shooting your kids was maybe stopping their chances of showing up to dinner? And you're like so confused. Why isn't anybody rocking up for dinner? Imagine the cops believe the father, the murderer. Imagine that. Like, oh, he thought that if he shot the kids, something good would happen. Like, it's just, this is the type of stuff that's happening. But yeah, friends, eventually the pendulum will swing back. Good thing is, though, we've got a big bull market ahead. So before it swings back, it's got to go swing the other way, which pretty much means lots of pumps for us. I've got some big news as well, friends. This is big news for America. So Donald Trump says he will create the external revenue services. So I've actually got the tweet here. I'm just going to show you before we continue. So basically, instead of the internal revenue services, he wants to do the ERS. So for far too long, we've relied on taxing our great people using the internal revenue service. Through soft and pathetically weak trade agreements, the American economy delivered growth and prosperity to the world while taxing ourselves. It is time for that to change. I am today announcing that I will create the external revenue service to collect tariffs, duties, and all revenue that come from foreign sources. We will begin charging those that make money off us with trade, and they will start paying. Finally, their fair share will be the birth date of the external revenue service. Make America great again. So the share of America's pretty much GDP, its revenue from tariffs are like very, very low. But yeah, this isn't like a caveat, friends. You're like, oh, why didn't anybody think of this before? It's because, yeah, we don't live in a static world. Like, if you start taxing people, they start doing stuff. They start like putting up the rates. They start looking for alternatives. However, we don't know where that point is. So that's and then obviously they're like, hey, well, we got all the guns, so let's like use all our muscle and our force. So I guess we'll see how this plays out. Also, JP Mosquito, friends, predicted that the new XRP and Solana ETFs may attract $14 billion of flows. So that's something, but it's funny because you might say to me, hey, my friend Somi, literally yesterday's juicy news, Jamie Dildo, the JP Mosquito CEO, he said Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. How come your CEO is calling it a Ponzi scheme and then your same institution is bullish on the Ponzi scheme squared ETFs? Like, if Bitcoin's a Ponzi, then what's XRP and Soy? They're like mega Ponzis. If you call Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme, you want to use that terminology. Okay, well, an ETF for them, now you're letting the general public to buy the Ponzi schemes? So obviously, friends, they're full of crap. In extra news as well, friends, this is cool. So Washington, this is a Donald Trump thing. They're hosting a crypto ball, like a disco ball. Okay, so we have a crypto ball here too, right, on our channel, because you like and subscribe. We have our own crypto ball, friends. So they're hosting a crypto ball on the 17th of January, right before the inauguration. And there's expensive tickets, so like $100K minimum, $1 million up to $1 million. But it's I think it's really obvious and clear. Donald Trump really wants everyone to know he's the first pro-crypto US president. And that's good. That's what you want, because there's something in it for both of us. I reckon when they sat him down, you know, a year or two ago, he's like, hey, what's this crypto stuff? He's like, hey, you have the chance to be the first US president who's actually pro-crypto. You can actually make a big... And he probably like thought, wow, I will be like the first one who supports this. So, you know, basically, because they love being leaders. You know what I mean? You're like, because it's like, I see the vision. You can make a lot of money off that. Bitcoin goes up. Yeah, because they probably showed in the chart. Yeah, so this is really good. Also, take note of their sponsors. They're sponsors of the ball: Coinbase, Piwi, MetaMask, Galaxy Digital, which is Mike Novogratz, Solana, and there's others. That's also something I guess pay attention to. It's everyone in the industry. They've pretty much been donating. That's what you want to see, though. We're all working together. Everyone here. We know, man, crypto has to get to 10 trillion plus. It just, I don't know how. I don't know the news events. I'm just expecting a white swan to trick everybody in. That's something that just makes people think, you know what, 40 cycle is broken. Okay, we'll wait for that moment. Also, friends, the Kippy is coming out in the next 12 to 15 hours, just some macro stuff. But the Kippy, right, it's expected 2.9% year on year. And I want to remind you that there's a big myth going on And the myth is that crypto can't pump with high interest rates. So that is a myth. And I mean, I can even show it to you. The biggest alt season of all time was when they were literally hiking rates in 2017. That was the absolute biggest. And you can actually see this if I show you now. This is the stock market chart in the candles. Obviously, the orange is Bitcoin. You should know this chart, friends, a log chart. And then the purple, this is the interest rates. So look what they were doing. In 2017, this was literally the biggest alt season ever. 2017, this year, they were literally hiking rates. And you got to remember, man, they were hiking rates from like, 0.5% up to 1.252. This was very dangerous because they were coming out of the GFC. They hadn't hiked rates before. And they're coming out of the GFC, and then it actually cracked the economy throughout 2018. That's how everything capitulated low. And then that's when they had to stop hiking rates at like 1.25%, but the yield curve priced it in 2%. It's just the economy cracked off. Well, actually, no, if you go all the way, stopped to 2.5% actually up here. But they kept hiking throughout the bear market. But if you want to check the bull market, look, the bull market peaked here. It was 1.5%. So, yes, we had the biggest alt season ever, and they were like smashing up the rates. That was a way better, infinitely bigger alt season than when we had 2021 cycle, which was when we had 0% rates, 0% and infinite QE. And I'll show you this even on the others BTC. Look at these, look at these, look at this. Compare how big this one was. This is when they were hiking rates, and this was 0% rates and infinite QE. Look at this. Look how much it broke the high, man. This is how much it broke the high. Look how much this thing broke the high. That's it. Compare the size of that arrow. Compare the size of this breaking the high, and then compare the size of that. Look at these two things, man. Whopping differences. Whopping differences. Look how giant that was. That's hiking rates as well. So as you get to see me answering the myth for you, interest rates are a response to the health of the economy. They are a response. They're not the dictator or dictatee. You get it? The economy is much bigger and more complicated than that. So when you see high rates, like we see 4.5% rates right now, doesn't mean, oh, it's so tight, it's so tight. No, man. The rates are high because they're printing a crap load of money and there's inflation everywhere. Banks are giving out loans and everything, okay? So that's the truth about the matter. So basically, in a nutshell, how do we get to the main core point? The main core point is anybody trying to trade crypto using interest rates and differentials, and they're saying, oh, altcoins can't pump, we need 0% rates, they're actually plebs. They're plebs and they're wrong. They're probably selling you some sort of grift service somewhere down the line. They're basically making you more retardio because they're just completely ignoring the biggest alt season of all time. And it's funny enough, you got to pay more attention to that alt season because that was a Donald Trump cycle. So last time Donald Trump was in, he ran an inflationary policy. And yes, that's something to think about. It's an important data point. Although they might look at another data point and they'll say, well, the uninverted yield curve is a problem here because the yield curve is now definitely in this territory where a recession is meant to come next. Yeah, that's important. However, Campbell Harvey, the guy actually made the yield curve, he said there's something about what these things are predicting. You never know, friends. The government might do some tricks, man. They might know, oh, when the yield curve cracks, we just got to stimulate in these areas, and then people don't actually feel their recession part. They just take a purchasing power hit somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always some tricks that they try to do. Also, shout out to my friend, the Pulse Chain guys, Germany. Power of Hex from Germany. That's awesome, friends. I love seeing this type of stuff. Everybody all around the world. I love seeing where you guys are from. There's countries all around there. It's beautiful. Every single continent. We're pretty much all locked in now. Now, let's check out some charts, where we're going, what's happening. Obviously, you've seen the Bitcoin weekly chart here. Remember, Uncle Bobby has some sideways poopy up or some little ding-dong going down. He's confident, though, that the cycle low is in. Because what I like him is, friends, he's looking at the 60-day cycle stuff out here. But the most important part is obviously the macro one. And yes, all over Twitter, if you want to know right now, Ethereum guys have been copying it hard even more. Wow, Ethereum is still getting slaughtered out there. 3,200. But yes, if you repeat, like, here's the thing. You notice, friends, every month you go in, we try to make a guess what happens. And then, like, if it's not working out, we're like, oh, we're trying to just match what thing we're kind of following of the past. It doesn't have to exactly follow the past, but there's some sort of themes come out here. Well, the next thing left for us to match is the 2017 cycle. And crypto did not run early if you're an altcoin in 2017 cycle. it ran actually between now, so January 15th is here, January 15th to the end of Feb, that 6-week window. And you can actually check out the ETH BTC ratio, which is still getting clobbered. Literally, this is still getting clobbered here, but it's okay. It's weekly charts. They can't change much, friends. We need some sort of zip up. It is sad that this is the 61% retrace. It's now 0.06. Why is that terrible, friends? It was 0.055 on the ETF launch. So you got to check out the Ethereum ETF launch. It was somewhere maybe here or here. I think maybe it was up here or something. That's horrible, man. So you're just going to retrace the ETF launch. Oh, man. I hope it goes much higher than that. But yeah, if you want to know, right, what would ETH BTC 0.06 mean for the price? Once again, if you had a $250,000 Bitcoin, you do that by 0.06, you get a $15,000 Ethereum. And yeah, you're like, oh, I'll take a $15,000 ETH. No, but that's friends. Basically, friends, if Ethereum can only do that, you should almost never own any altcoin ever. And I'm not even joking, for a long time. I'm not even kidding. Because if Ethereum can only, because look, what Ethereum used to be 0.16, almost flipping, okay? If Ethereum's best thing it can do is come up here, man, this will scare the living daylights out of me. Because that means if you don't exit in an altcoin, okay, you could be at any cycle. It can take, look at this, look how much Ethereum, since 2017, it could literally be 9 years later, you still haven't come back to your high, 9-10 years later. I mean, and by the way, we already know this from XRP. XRP is an example to look at because the real XRP price is the XRP BTC price, which you can see right here. This is the real XRP BTC price. So this is, well, hopefully this thing goes up here, but I just want to let you know, blockchain backer, who's a maxi, he's getting out here pretty much. Blockchain backer, big believer at XRP. Think about this, man. Friends, let me tell you something. I don't care who you are. You don't believe in XRP if you're selling here, bro. You don't actually, you believe in Bitcoin if you're still there. Because you're basically saying this thing you're never going to gain on Bitcoin. I'm out. All right, okay? So that's just I know people don't say that with their words, but that's what their actions say. Your actions speak louder than words. You get it? So this is the truth. Okay, and where does he get that from? I think it's a fib retracement. If you go from the top to the bottom, it's, yeah, not even. He's just gone for like a 38.2 or like this zone here. This pretty much, this is the critical zone. And you want to know how much of a distance that is from today. If you bought in XRP today, it's about a 3.6x versus Bitcoin. That's what everyone's looking for. I wonder how that's going to reconcile though. It would be like if Bitcoin does a 50% move up to 150K and then XRP did a 3.6 on that. It's XRP doing a 5.4x total from today. So I can actually get the XRP price here for you and I'll just show you where does, let's look at the full price out here because Coinbase's one was raises. Where does a 5.6x take you from today? It is all the way up here. So I don't even, friends, this is the crazy part. I've just calculated that to get to this zone, Bitcoin is, XRP is like $15. Problem is, BCB selling everything here. He literally said he's selling at like $8, $9. He's selling under this $10 zone. Where does he get that? I think that is the Fibonacci from the top to the bottom around here. So that is, I forgot exactly how we got that, but yeah, that's what we're looking at. Now, not much has been updating out the altcoins at all. I know what you're feeling, man. I'm feeling it too. You're feeling tired, run down. Everyone's getting really angsty. Everyone's saying, man, if this doesn't work out this year, it's the biggest scam. I know, friends, I've been calling crypto a scam from day one, man. It's literally, you drop 99%. You can't access any liquidity. And then you have mindshare competition literally every day. People come and steal your mindshare. It really isn't worth it at all once you if you're doing long-term holding. From cycle to cycle, as you get to see the stats. Now, I've shown you all the stats. The truth is, right, so every altcoin bleeds for 3 years in a row, you know what I mean? And then, see, everyone coming in who gets to deploy, I know it's a catch-22 too well. So, people who are, if we are holding altcoins, we think there's a whole host of people out there in the world who are so confident they're going to go buy your altcoins with max size and they're going to get in at a cheaper price than you. It doesn't actually happen like that. They're sitting on the sidelines and watching. What actually happens is, they are so sensitive to risk now because they've been sitting in warm waters, either in their stable coins or Bitcoin. They don't know how to deploy. And if they get in, like they'll get out at a 2x. Like they're just so scared. They don't believe in anything. They're so scared because like it's kind of like, man, the things have been sinking for 3 years. 3 freaking years. Altcoins down. You know what I mean? Like they won't even believe anything that goes up. And by the way, even if they do buy, they'll probably buy new stuff because they don't want to touch the old stuff. But for now, we can basically look to the next wave coming up here. We got some dates here. This is April is 12 months after the Bitcoin halving. Historically, 3 out of 3 times altcoins peak here. I don't know if we're going to just start run up. I don't know. Anything can happen. April, February, March, April. So that is, look, that is possible, by the way. Okay. If you do all of February and all of March and all of April, you get about that 90 days. And then maybe it peaks at maybe like April. It's still running for like 2 weeks into that. And then it's over. That's 100 days. Remember, friends, it takes 100 days. 50 days to make the floor. 50 days to... see, technically, the floor could start being make up today. 50 days for the floor and then 50 days for the spike up. And look how fast all these things happen, man. Look at this. It just starts going up. Bang. Okay, this is actually 50 days. This is 100 days here. That's crazy to think about. So we're looking at that ratio. Others BTC moving forward. That's one of them. That is April 2025. In 2017, we had June, July. So it ran all the way. It was actually buy in May. That's another thing. But yeah, no one's really excited for this trashy alt season because this is the small one. That's why we're not excited because, look, we know everyone really thinks they're getting a full flat 10x from here and they're exiting out. And then I did the numbers. I'm like, bro, for everyone to get their 10x dream and everything they're holding, you know, others BTC, it has to actually do something it's never done before. Actually, it has to repeat. This is actually funny, man. It has to repeat 2017, which is what everyone's anchoring on, which is, check this out. It's got to go from here, from like, actually it started at 0.02, 2%, and it went to about 18%. That's nuts, man. Even if you start at like 3% or 4% and it goes to 18%, basically you're doing like a 7x on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does a 50% move and you've done a 7x on that, you get a 10x. But look where a 7x would take this freaking thing, friends. It would take, I mean, like, it would basically be a flippening of this ratio. Like, people are looking at from here. They're thinking, well, what they're expecting is this thing's going to come here. That's what they're actually thinking about. Now, if you ask individual people, what they will say is that everyone thinks their altcoin is going to be the one that trades at a premium to the whole index. And yes, everyone says, oh, don't worry, every altcoin is trash but mine. It's fascinating how that works, man. Individually, each person says, don't worry, I'm holding the premium one. I'm holding the unicorn one. But then I look at, okay, bro, everyone's looking for a 10x in every coin. Tell me how others is going to flip Bitcoin like that. It's going to do something never ever before. Look, man, always be. That's why you're waiting for time. We are waiting for time, but yes, I mean, this is never been done before. Okay, to do such a violent move, especially, there's the liquidity required to push this thing up is godly. But let's work with some other numbers here. Let's say we do stop here around this fib level for this fractal for alt season wave 1. The others, it's gone about 2.5. It is 18 into like 41%. That's about a 2.5x from here to here on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does, you know, its first wave, a 50% move, you know, 2.5 times 1.5 is 3.75. That's what we're looking at. But like, let's remember that's for others. That's for everything outside of the top 10. That's $1 billion plus, and that's the whole thing. So if the average coin is doing like around a 3.5x to 4x, hopefully we're on something that we do like. You can grab like, you know, a premium on that, and then we got to deal with the next rinsing part. Now, I want to teach you something. There is a Coinfessions Rekt here. We're going to have to read it together because it is interesting, okay? I retired late in 2021. I bought a few apartments. I bought a sports car. I helped my relatives. I expanded my family with a newborn. Then a war started in my country. I had to flee abroad. I got depressed. I lost $500,000 remaining crypto margin trading, starting from scratch in a new country. Now, I am trying to make you better, friendlier, wiser friends. I'm telling you, you messed up when you as soon as I saw you bought a few sport months and an apartment and a car, I'm like, oh, before I even read that it's from another country, as soon as I saw that sports car and apartments, I'm like, oh, you're going to live long enough to regret selling. That's okay. That's okay. But just let me tell you something. So in crypto, the biggest advantage, it's funny, but it's sad at the same time. People come in and they see it as magic money, and it really is imaginary Ponzi money, ha ha ha, but they don't actually think about why it's imaginary magic money. Why is this money magic? And they disrespect the reasons why it's magic, like this guy. Okay, like all those Bitcoin-esque type of grifters and all the other grifters out here. They're pumping and dumping, or they're selling garbage services, taking your money. They're going and buying stocks. They're buying Miami penthouses and all this other junk, right? Off your money, by the way, all your the subscribers and their followers. Who, you know what? If people like being cucks, then they're going to be cucks. Yeah, there's cuck worship and stuff out here. Cucks worship other cucks. So these people, they never like... They understand. They go, oh, this thing has potential to change stuff. Then they see the price going up. But then they start cheating. And that's okay, man. Yeah, you have to take profit. You know, when non-believers come in, you can't rely on them, etc., etc. But you really got to be careful about that. Because in life, friends, you don't get lucky like two or three times. You know, you get lucky once. Crypto's now in its fourth cycle. It ain't luck. It's a long-term savings vehicle. That's it. Bitcoin goes up for 3 years, down for 1 year, until further notice, right? Altcoins go down for 3 years, up for 1 year. Now, the power of crypto is that it's really borderless. A government can't take it. They can't press pause on the chain. And think about this person, how much wealth they would still have if they committed to long-term savings account mentality with Bitcoin. That's the only thing that works so far. Just think about this, you know. And yeah, you're going to have your altcoins. Everyone believes in their own altcoin that's going to make it. Okay, sweet. Yeah, out of 100 people... 3 are going to be right, 97 of them are going to be wrong, okay? Because Bitcoin's the only one that still stood up the test of time. And then to make things worse, man, instead of like buying Bitcoin for the last 500K, he just went and did crypto margin trading. So that's pretty much the killer. So this is the most important part, right? Is once you start to sell and move into the traditional financial system, it is short-term gratification. Because you're like, wow, the things I finally was dreaming of. I've got apartments and a sports car. I'm like rich. Yes, once you have them, time will tick on. The cycle will continue without you. It will pump without you. You will curse the cycle. We see it all the time. People who sold early come back. They just FUD the crap out of everything. They want it to come down. Friends, do you remember that subhuman filth, cockroach gut scum, that pencil neck loser who made $4 million in Ethereum? Remember I told you that story? Just to refresh your memory. An old guy, he bought ETH here and then he dumped it all for 4 million. Now, what he did is he paid his taxes. Maybe he's got like, you know, whatever, 2.8 million left. He bought, and he had 2.8 million left. He bought 2 mansions, 1.2 and 1.2 million at the time, 2 houses back in 2021 or whatever after it. And then he kept like a couple of 100K because he quit his job or something, okay? Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I think he quit his job, whatever. He's got 500K. And I think he was going to live off the income, live in one of the houses, whatever. Now, when Ethereum got back and it was hitting around 1,400, all right, he got so greedy. It's not just him. This happened to everyone, okay? There's only one admitted it, okay, that I actually could speak to. This subhuman filth cockroach gut scum was praying that all of us lose all our money and that Ethereum goes to around a price of, I think, like $500 bucks. I think like under 400. Now, the only reason he wanted 400, he said 400, I came to find out was because, remember how he made 4 million and then he dumped everything at 4K? Well, he's only got like 300 or 400 grand in dollars left. He wants to buy back all his original Ethereum. He wants to get it back. So let me show you. So he had like 1,000 Ethereum. He sold it. And then he went to 0 Ethereum. Now, he wanted his 1,000 Ethereum back. He did not want to go buy a $1,500 ETH. So he had 1,000. He didn't want to buy 300 ETH because he's like, because you're sitting comfortable in spot because, you know, altcoins are going down, everything's going down, everything's a scam and a Ponzi. He never got back in. And then we started pumping, obviously, without him. I don't know what he's doing today. I even forgot his username, but it's one person out here. Basically, the guy it was funny. After the thing started going up, he referred to himself as trapped. It's kind of funny. Look at the mentality, right? So You called yourself a miracle genius because you made out, you sold for your 2-mansion apartments, had a couple of $100K, and you're living the life and whatever. As the crypto market's gone to zero in the bear market, you called yourself a genius. But then once it starts going up, he calls himself trapped because he can't sell his homes, his houses. He can't sell them. It's too illiquid. And then like he's like, you know, he'd have to sell, maybe pay tax. It's too much of a mess. And then he has to buy up. He's not buying a $3,200 ETH. No way. You know what I mean? So he can't get back anything left here at all. In fact, with his 500K, he'll be lucky to get back 100 Ethereum. The sad part is that's the thing you're meant to do, though. You used to have 1,000. You have to admit that you're a cuck. Okay? And oh no, it's interesting, right? How do you call this person a loser? They won the game. They got 2 houses. They got this fence. It's not me. Okay? It's themselves. You will consider yourself a loser. And then you have to cope. So it's to you and me, hey, you won the game, man. You got 2 houses. Other people are still working their job. You got to retire. They didn't care about that because the market started going up. Didn't I tell you the green candles, they ignite feelings? Fear of missing out. Fear, friends. How is a guy who made 2 houses, $4 million, sold, paid all the tax, how the hell do you call yourself trapped? How do you even have fear? It's because there's, you know, cycles, man. If you sell crypto, especially blue chips, okay, of definitely like Bitcoin, Ethereum-esque stuff, you will live long enough to regret it. So consider avoiding what this guy is, and unfortunately, so could just consider when you take profits, you stack Bitcoin, you know? Yeah, maybe there's going to be one cycle. Bitcoin sucks and altcoins go up. Okay, trust me. Friends, look how many altcoins there are out here. You know, you're going to have plenty of time with me to accumulate and learn the narrative and stuff out here. They're not going to just appear out of nowhere. You know, all these people, everyone's like literally just sheep, you know? So until further notice, you understand the drill. And everything I'm speaking about, it's all hindsight stuff now. So it doesn't really matter. For now, you're meant to be turbo leverage long, according to 4-year history. But yes, this is something to think about when we're euphoric. You know, this is something to think about. So right now, I'll just show you again. This is others BTC. Right now, there's nothing to be concerned about. Right now, everything's cheap, okay? This is what I'm talking about. This is okay, when you're like 55 to 60% ratio against Bitcoin, this is something that's definitely something to consider. Last but not least, all over Twitter, there's always, I've noticed there's always it really is true. There is a constant stream of just bearish people. And what you actually will come to notice is it's the lens you're looking at. So most people, what I've noticed is it's no one is like really smart or dumb per se. It's just the information they're given. Everyone is making decisions based off just a few pieces of information. And if you just tweak that information, it changes. That's why when you see someone winning, you've seen it with your own eyes, and then basically you can derive a lot of like optimistic long-term holding beliefs from that. But if you don't see anybody winning, if you're like a loser and you're from a loser town and your friends are all losers and they're jealous of people like, you know, succeeding or starting up a business or doing crypto, then you'll never get ahead of yourself ever. You literally never ever get ahead because you don't have any relevant data points. So I'm just going to show you a perspective here. So there's one guy who posted this chart on Twitter of the stock market. Basically says, you know, it's a bubble and it's over. Okay. What I've noticed is, I'm not joking, every time someone charts the stock market long-term in linear, you just either mute them or just be like, just say, I know you're a smart person in your field. Yeah, maybe you know how to build a doghouse in your backyard. Okay, you're a smart person, but you're an actual retardio at markets. Okay, you are a retardio at markets because we understand the government is printing money every year. It's debasing not as a fixed supply. It's debasing as a percentage of the supply, which means you have to use a log chart of growth because the government today is printing 7% per year, debasing. Yeah, it's not printing like, $300 billion per year. No, it's a percentage of whatever it was before. So if you go back 20 years ago, it was also a percentage back then. So if you change this chart from linear and you see log, this is the actual 100-year chart on the stock market. Look at this, 100 years of S&P 500, literally 100 years. Now, there's that. Look at the difference, friends. Look at the difference between people trying to FUD stuff out, saying, well, the stock, look, it's all over, it's all over. Look at that. See, they're trying to imply that it's really high and it's popped. And then look at this. this is pretty much it. This is everything you get to see. The stock market, S&P 500 is around 5,800. Now, of course, there are these periods, friends, where it accelerates. This is just something interesting. This was the tech bubble, okay? So the internet got birthed, and then we went actually nuts around here. This was when we started going too nuts, okay? It's funny, like we went for the whole time, it just went up and up and up and up, and then started accelerating up. So this thing is actually, if you compare this line to that, okay, this was more steep. Like, we can't rule it out though. It is possible that AI in the next 1 year or something, or 2 years, there's just some big breakthrough, and then things start going really, really, really nuts, and everything becomes AI, and then it becomes like a technology era, internet technology era, late 1999 scenario. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet whatsoever. Long-term charts, put on the log chart. A lot of people don't use them because they have scarcity mindsets, because they're constantly into this trading. And remember, like, when you're trading a linear chart, you're trading as a US dollar, which means you're selling from one thing to the thing that they're inflating anyway, okay? But, you know, that's just something that you got to think about long term. Shout out to my friend Mr. Pro Pulsex. You teach, I learn. 140K the top, deal with it. Time to get fully invested. Yeah, so when it comes to these targets, as you all know, friends of the channel included, I don't have any real price targets, just hoping and coping. I'm using the ratios because the cycle ends, they are marked by euphoria. And there's euphoria with people's words, and there's euphoria with people's actions. Now, with euphoria with people's words, we're waiting for that moment. But also euphoria with people's actions, every single time they've bought the wider altcoins outside of the top 10, have got to this size. You know, some people have speculated. Someone said to me, well, this cycle is going to be different. Actually, not just them, it was a few like mainstream KOLs. They said this cycle is going to be different because, actually, Ansoy said this. There's too many altcoins now and the big things can't move. Wrong, man, wrong. Because you're thinking like a G. You're thinking like, oh, something goes up 2x and I'm cheating out. So you think everyone else works like that. It doesn't, okay? People want to get into something and forget about it. They just want to see it, watch it growing forever. That's why there will always be coins that run. And these things enter the index. And they hit critical mass because it's working. Because people trade and they invest based off their friends and momentum. So they're like, oh, I've been in this thing. That's what they say. It's been working for me. It's been going up for 3 months. They're like, oh, cool. My thing's been going down for 3 months. I'm in Pulse Chain. It's been going down for 3 months. This thing's been going up for 3 months. They just get into whatever it is. And that eventually is reflexive and it moves on to the 4-year cycle, a type of behavior. But as a whole, we haven't seen anything like that yet. When will we? I guess we'll find out soon. Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you in the next one.